Flex, we obviously just got off stage speaking at an event, and we're going to talk about I Am Me. And the unique thing about this show is, as I interview a ton of people, my favorite part is I interview, celebrities, social media influencers, people with high levels of success, athletes. But I don't want to talk about any of their stuff that they're known for. And it's like when I interview Lawrence Taylor in football, right? It's like, how many times did someone ask him, how did he feel by tackling Joe Theismann and breaking his leg? It's like, dude, that's been asked 1,000 times. What I want to know is who Flex Lewis is as a human, who's Flex Lewis as a father, who's Flex Lewis, that no one maybe gets to see that side. They get to see the muscles, when you show the shows, they see that side, but they don't see behind the scenes. So let's go a little bit behind the scenes here, man. Let me just start with this question. When I say the word fatherhood, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Greatest accomplishment of my life.
Greatest accomplishment of your life. Why is that? I mean, and I'm saying that because you've obviously accomplished a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. And immediately when I said fatherhood, it's like, none of that shit mattered.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, greatest thing I ever did.
And I'm not just saying it, obviously, because we got 6 cameras pointing on us. It genuinely is. For me, it was something I always wanted to be, And of course, you can train yourself into really anything, mentally, physically, in my case. And with being a dad, when I ticked that box, it was like, wow, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
And it really ticked a much bigger box than I ever thought, and I could ever imagine, because now it's not just me. I came to this country with me. I only had to look after me. I only had to put meal in my mouth to keep myself alive. Now I'm doing it for a bigger purpose. I look at my daughter and I go, that's my why. I get up and I don't have to question anything else. That's my why, And now she's becoming the young little lady she is, and I see little characteristics of myself, mannerisms. People say facial features, hopefully not too much. But so that fatherhood is, if you look at my Instagram bio, that's the first thing I've listed, dad.
Dad.
Before everything else.
Not 7-time Mr. Olympia.
That's the underneath, way underneath.
You said dad.
Dad.
Now I know you have one daughter right now.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram post, I think it was on maybe Valentine's Day. Is your wife pregnant?
Yep.
Right now? So is this gonna be your second?
You were expecting a baby boy, May.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so around the corner, around the corner. Very excited. So I got,
And you know it's a boy already?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, that ultrasound is reading wrong. Otherwise, I don't know what that little object there is. If it's not the case, but no, we definitely have a little boy. We kind of selected a name for the baby prior. Before we even didn't know when my first came along, we knew the boy's name.
Okay.
So we had a girl's and a boy's name. So the baby boy's name is going to be called Maxen. Maxen. M-A-C-S-E-N.
M-A-C? S-E-N.
So Max.
Maxen.
Yeah, Maxen.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
You can look back, if you guys can look and Google it, whatever. It dates back to a king of Wales.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got all my. I try to keep a lot of traditional stuff around me. If you look at my gym, for example, my Welsh flag is a dragon.
Yeah.
We've got dragons all over the gym.
Yeah.
So I love to have the cultural side. My wife is great at making sure that my daughter knows where, her father's from. We go back to Wales so much, so she knows the difference. So again, my daughter's name is Adiana. It's a Welsh name, means woman of beauty in Welsh. So again, I take a lot of my upbringing, my Welsh ancestry, and obviously I put it into my family. And as I said, my wife is from a different, comes from a different world, than my upbringing. She's actually Jewish.
Okay.
And so was brought up one way, she's brought up another way, and we've got 2 cultures that come together, and it works beautifully. Bloody beautifully.
Yeah, bloody. When you think about Maxen, that baby boy coming, what's a thought that you are looking forward to doing? Like you catch yourself maybe periodically thinking like, I can't wait to do blank.
Yeah.
Is there anything that comes to your mind? Like, I can't wait to, whatever it is, play ball, throw them in the air. Like, anything that comes to your mind?
I think all of the above. I think my daughter is very good at sort of, she's a very girly girl. She's a mommy's girl,
okay.
Without a doubt. But she has been and done a lot of stuff that, I thought she wouldn't be interested in. Like when we were living in Florida, we'd go fishing.
Yeah.
we done a lot of very different things, like dad stuff.
Sure.
You know, and I'm looking forward to doing dad stuff with my son too. But there was certainly not going to be one favored or the other. You know, obviously there's things that I'm looking forward to years in different chapters of life, right?
Yeah.
You know, first time going to the gym, for example.
Yeah.
You know, that's down the line. But
I was going to ask you that, like, obviously you have the massive career of bodybuilding and all the records.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself talking to him about that and going down that road, or no? No?
I knew the struggles of what I've had to endure to get to where I am. And I think that there's, you know, each their own. If that's what he or she decides to do, then I'll support it. But if I kind of looking from the outside in right now, I would like them to do something different. And kind of, it's very difficult also, I feel, to do something underneath a father figure that has done something so big.
Like you have the shadow.
Yes, and I wouldn't want that feeling to be bestowed on my son or my daughter. I think it would be worse for my son, right? Because you would never be able to live up to your father.
Even the thing is, even if you did, he would never feel as though he did.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's like even my father now, who has nothing to do with business, he's not a businessman.
Yeah.
I still have this like I look up to, and no matter how much levels of success I reach, and no matter how much applause or gratitude or love or support he gives me, it's like I always am like striving still do it, you know. And obviously in that case it'd be the same thing. No matter even if he was 8-time Mr. Olympia, he would still have that that feeling of shadow that's there. Let me shift to another. Before I move on, let me ask you this: How old are you right now?
38.
38. Give a piece of advice to maybe a young man, young woman that's about to have their first kid. What's a piece of advice you would give to someone right now about to have their first child?
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment.
Really enjoy it. Suck it all in. And we talked about on stage, my last show, right? Just I know it's still different, but because I prepared myself to live the moment, I genuinely took in every essence of the whole show experience, up even the days that were really hard, to the whole process of the week of the Olympia, the media, the fans, the meet and greets, the actual win on stage. I totally absorbed it as much as I could. And when I had my first, now the advice that the question you just said, I'm going to take my own advice right now. I'm going to live in the moment, because the first, I was so nervous, and you think of everything, right? You know, the baby's being born, you want to, it's just a madness of everything.
And because you've never gone through it, you have no idea actually what's going to take place.
Yes, exactly. So I want to make sure that this time now I'm really there, I'm in the moment, I'm enjoying the process, and you know, not that I'm enjoying my wife being in labour, but you know what I mean, from the dad standpoint. It's going to be a beautiful experience, and just live the moment and enjoy it. It's a blessing nonetheless. So you brought something into the world that has your DNA.
That only you could have done.
Yes.
Like think about it. Like only you could have done that.
Yeah, only me. Don't tell my wife.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yes, exactly.
If you were, this is a horrible illustration, but for the point, even if you had married, 10 years ago somebody else, and she had married, they would not be the kid that you have right now. Would not exist, right?
Yes, very true.
And so it's one of a kind. It's one of one.
Most definitely.
One of one.
Most definitely.
Let me shift gears here with you. Past fatherhood, I want to talk to you about being a husband.
Yeah.
Like, again, all these things in life are that we've all accomplished, are super relevant and important. But when you stop and think about like what is actually really important though.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about being a husband. What's the first word that comes to your mind when I talk about, or you hear the word husband?
The first word that comes in if you're asking my wife, it all depends on what time of the morning it is, or what time of the day it is. No.
The great thing is, this is your interview, so.
Yeah, I would say, I think companionship is.
Companionship?
Yeah, and I say love, right? Love more than companionship, because I have true love with my wife,
Define that, true love. What does that mean to you when you said that? Somebody
that is there for me, for richer or poorer, the wedding sort of,
Yeah.
you know, richer or poorer, sickness and in health.
Good times and bad.
Good times and bad.
Ups and downs.
She's been there. She's seen me at my worst. She's seen me at my most vulnerable, and she's seen the best of times, you know. And I kind of, I'm a kind of a old school guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get upset much. I probably cried in front of her 5 times, handful of times, and not because I'm trying to beat my chest and say I'm tough, but you know. If I felt I could get upset, I could do it to her openly, you know, and she's, I will say this, in terms of the career side, in different, you know,
Sure.
in different sections. Myself and my wife met way back when. She's seen that I was struggling in various different departments in my brand.
Yeah.
She was like, just let me help you.
Yeah.
And I was very reluctant to, you know, offset, you know, certain things that I've controlled. Not that I'm micromanaged, but I've done everything myself from the get. And she's like, listen, let me just help you with the store. And I used to old school, prehistoric, handwrite everything.
Yeah.
You can imagine a fan mail from China, Russia, all over, crazy, right? And she's like, you don't know that there's something called Shopify that you can just print the button and it prints out. They were talking a long time ago, nothing recent. I said, really? Let me help you. So I allowed her to, you know, take that sector, and she just transformed the whole business of mine. And you know, I make a running joke. We got together, and I haven't lost since. I'm undefeated since we've been together. 8 years we've been together, and coming up to 9 years. And you know, she's definitely the yin to my yang. You know, so you know, with us, we kind of met in a very unique scenario. I was talking to somebody yesterday, but they asked me the question, and even though, as I said, the story of how we met, just it was, I reached out to her. You could have said slid in the DMs or whatever. We met at a show, and just so fate happens, my phone was about to die. I was leaving this show, this fitness convention, and I ended up going to a restaurant. Phone died, and she's sitting right next to me on the table. Otherwise, we would never have connected. We ended up having a great night. We kept in connection. And we really hit it off. She comes from a completely different world to me, you know, and so it's been. I would say from the get, I knew that this was going to be the girl I was going to be with, and it's most certainly improved, you know, every asset of my life, including, you know, I think my family would disown me first before, you know, if anything happened.
Let me ask this question. I want to try to help some viewers here. You know, especially from a kind of standpoint of, I'm going to talk specifically right now, just maybe from a male standpoint. Yeah. And I think you could shine a lot of light on this to help a lot of people. Men sometimes have myself included, have a very hard time on something you were talking about a while ago, which is, I'm going to use the word vulnerability. Yeah. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're a driver, you're letting someone in and letting this thing, like you mentioned, go or whatever it is, it's very unique and difficult. I'm going to add on to that, just from the outside perspective. Now you have this massive bodybuilder, 7-time Mr. Olympia. Again, just the initial connection is like, well, men and muscles and you know, that stuff, and then you add the word vulnerability, and it's even like, whoa, wait a second. How would you, for a man in a relationship right now that's with this partner, that like a companionship you just mentioned, what would you tell him about being vulnerable with his actual lifelong partner?
What do you mean?
Being vulnerable. How does a man go about being more open and vulnerable? Meaning, like you were mentioning, like when you let go of, let her help you with those things. Most men have a massive hard time doing that.
I think there's many onion skin peels. Yes, and I guess getting past the first initial ones, you know, and talking openly and honestly. Again, from the get-go, myself and my wife talked about things I've never had in any relationship. I talked about long-term goals. I talked about family. That's why I knew this girl was going to be the one, because we kind of had similar aligned stuff. She was doing a master's degree. She was very business savvy. Yeah. And I really liked that. You know, she's a scholar. So when you know you're going to be with this particular person, or you're with somebody and you know this is the one, then, you know, like swans, they mate for life, right?
Yeah.
You know, whatever that one swan goes, the other one goes. They don't stay in the same pond, they'll go together. And, you know, over time and over years, she's obviously got to see me, understand me more, and knows when to ask questions, when to not. So she knows when to, again, not to pry on poke, because sometimes I just don't want to talk.
Sure.
But again, it's good to open up. It's good to talk. I've become a lot better at it, and that's made me a better husband.
That's what I say. Like, unique about it is like when you actually kind of, as a man, kind of put that guard down.
Yeah.
That we always kind of have up.
Yeah.
Right. When you can actually let that guard down and start opening up, and it takes time.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, peeling back the onions there.
Yeah.
But opening it up and being that super vulnerable person with, like, say, your wife in this example, brings the relationship like so much closer together.
Absolutely.
Because now there's a unique bond
Yes.
that does not exist, that you've never had with maybe someone else before, because you have this like openness, self-reflection into it that drives the relationship deeper, even though as a man sometimes you think, man, if I say this, she's gonna think that I'm weak or that I can't handle this.
Keyword, weak.
Yeah.
I had to get past that.
Okay, yeah. That's what I'm saying, like with all the
Yes.
there's this mindset of, and then you add the muscles to it.
Yes.
It's
ego.
not about weakness. It's about being open and vulnerable to the person you love.
You just gotta forget the ego.
Yeah, the ego.
And I think, well, I know, me coming from the upbringing I did, blue collar, you know, great grandfather, father, all tough guys.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen my dad get upset really, you know. And subconsciously you get that installed in you.
Right.
So, you know, regardless of getting physically upset, it's just expressing stuff when you need to express it. Holding in is not good. And I have the tendency to bottle in a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Bottle in stress, bottle in, you know, stuff that I could easily speak to my wife about of old and didn't. Now that I do, I think she's like, oh my God, now he's opening too much up. But no, she's great. She's very good at sitting back and analyzing.
Yeah.
And like, okay, you know, say it's a scenario, I think you shouldn't do this, you should do that. And me being, you know, the red-headed, fiery temper guy, she's like, okay, maybe, you know, sleep on this a little bit. But again, all this has helped.
Yeah.
And better me, again, in so many sectors and brought us a lot closer.
Yeah.
You know, also, as the years have gone on, the birth of our daughter, and, you know, we've also experienced losses and stuff like this. So you need somebody that's there for the good times and the bad times, comforting and need. And, you know, and right now, you know, I'll be going home tonight and my wife is heavily pregnant and she probably wants her feet rubbed and you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I've been working today and having fun, but I still have the dad duties as well, see my daughter, and again, speaking about her day just as much as I've been speaking about mine. We were on the phone last night, you know, talking for about an hour and a half until she's like, baby, I've got to get off the phone. I'm still going on about how great the day was yesterday, so in any case.
Let me tell you, I want to give you and your wife a compliment. You know, we were obviously making Instagram post and, you know, so forth about you speaking and being here and so forth, and through the whole process, I don't know this to be a fact, but let me say it first before, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if in the post that I made about you, if you turned around and tagged me, if you will, back in those. But what I loved about it last night, I was going through my Instagram, and your wife took your photo and then reposted and tagged me.
All right.
Like basically it was like, when I was watching, it was like, I saw like the behind the scenes #1 fan. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even though she was at home, not here. But she saw that thing of you and was like, oh no, I'm going to reshare, post, and get this out there while he's out working. I'm going to, I don't know, it struck me in a very positive way. I'm like, dude, that's that good or bad, up or down, and saw it, and she's like, oh, and literally that's how I ended up going to her Instagram and your Instagram and was looking through stuff, and it was unique, man. I thought it was really cool that she did that. A, supporting us, but more importantly, like supporting you and reposting it, man. I thought it was cool.
She's phenomenal. My biggest cheerleader. Well, her and my mum share the same.
They all like your post the same.
But you know, with us being here this weekend, you know, she loves this stuff too. So she's kind of sitting at home. Here in spirit, so that's why we were on the phone for so long, because she wanted to find out everything.
What's going on,
and she knows that I'm really enjoying, you know, this whole new experience and this whole new wheelhouse for me, and and I'm thoroughly enjoying it too. You know, getting a chat and getting to know each other on a personal level as well.
Yeah.
And as I said on stage, you know, there's a certain perception that I probably would be maybe judged with straight away, having a look.
Right.
Having the look as a bodybuilder, and I just love breaking that stereotype.
Yeah.
Obviously, my wife knows what I'm about, and she knows my heart, and she knows what I want to achieve, not just on stage. Because now, as you said, I'm kind of transitioning off stage too. So, and everybody can relate, you know, at some capacity, whether it's you're a dad, right, or whether you're a 9-to-5 worker, or you're into this, you're into that. I feel like I've done so much stuff so far in my life that I've touched so many different buttons that I can talk to so many people and kind of relate to as well. Or maybe not, but still have conversation. And she knows all that, so that's why she's thoroughly enjoying the fact that I can now get into a new world that I've been so passionate about getting into, and just throw myself into this.
Yeah, I loved it, man.
Thank you.
Last question I got for you. Obviously, you got family, wife and kids, and mom, dad. You've talked about, and then you have all your friends, but you also have a ton of followers and fans that have followed your career. Uniquely enough, yours is around the world because you've done world. You're from. I want to say this right. It's Wales.
Correct.
That you're from. Make sure I said it right. So
Not
I'm
England.
punched right here, bro. I know. I was almost at England. Wait. That's like a curse word. Right
All right, guys, this is done.
And so, but you have fans around the world. Let me ask you one last thought here. When it's all said and over, and you're 120 years old and it is done, if the world remembered you as like one word, what would you want them to remember you as? Like one. Like, you guys may not know all this about me because you see me on stage, but just know this about me. And when you think of Flex Lewis, this is me.
Humble, I think.
Yeah.
There's a few different things I'd like to be known. There's.
It's a tough question, of course. It's one word and it's tough. So you said humble. What's another word? I thought there's another word in your head right now.
Well, it's not one word. It's kind of leave a legacy.
Okay.
That legacy is something that's, you know, you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You just go for something in life. You trailblaze. You lead your own path. There was no blueprint for me to do this. There was no uncle or cousin that got into bodybuilding. I just got into this, and then I seen the opportunity and I went for it. You know, and I kind of led myself blindly in many cases, but I still had that faith to know that I was going to work out. Don't ask me how. I done a post a couple of days ago talking about it. There's this kid that I thought back in posting, and it's like, how? I'm a different person now, but I'm looking back and I remember putting myself into that body, and I was not going to fail.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The kid, 19, 20, 21, had such big balls to go for it. Against all odds, against people telling me not going to work, it's not going to, you know, trying to put me off by, hey, you're leaving your family, you know, aren't you scared? It's like, listen, everybody has moments where they're going to be scared. I was in a country that I'd never been to. I mean, my perception of America was cops, Baywatch, and a few other things, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I was going to be eaten in the water by a shark or shot in the water or something, you know. But no, so again, the American lifestyle for me was something so new, and I was just so intrigued by it. And I knew that I had to be here to make it work. And now that I've gone through all these different stages in life, and again, I look back at that kid, because I'm not that same person.
Sure. And
now I'm in this shoes I'm in now, and I've endured what I've endured, and I've gone through what I've gone through. I can look back and go, man, I done it, but I done it my way, and I didn't mess anybody over. I morally kept my word. I didn't use a shortcut. Again, I've never done it for $1. I've done it for a legacy. And that's why I done 7 Olympias, because everyone had a different story. Everyone, I felt I wasn't ready to leave. Like, number 1 was winning it. Number 2 was defending it. Number 3 was the 50th year anniversary of Joe Weider's show, so I wanted to win that and set my legacy. Number 4, we found out my wife was pregnant. Number 5, I wanted to bring my daughter up on stage. Number 6 was going to be it.
That was the final one.
But my friend passed away in the process of going. There was a hurricane that came in, and me and my wife had to board up the house. We stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks in Vegas before, thought we were going to lose the house and everything. The hurricane veered away. But I was like, I can't leave on that.
Yeah.
I got to leave on my terms.
Yeah.
And number 7 was something, as I mentioned earlier, I sat back and I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is going to be the one that I walk away with. I'm going to put everything in, and it was my best look to date.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was prepared. I wasn't ready to just, most athletes, unfortunately, walk away when they don't want to walk away, right? They get told, they get injured, whatever else. This was, I'm done. The world knows. Sayonara. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended it. So my legacy in the 212 class will always be there. And if anybody is to ever endure 7 years of being the champion, God bless you. I'd be the first person to get up and shake your hand. But it's going to be very hard to beat, and that's what it is. Records are meant to be broken, but this one was sat. I broke it, I smashed it, and now God bless anybody else who wants to come and take it off me. So I'm on to the next. Stay humble, stay confident, focus on your goals, dream big.
Yeah.
Dream big, because if I told myself what I'm doing right now when I was 19 years old, I'd be thinking I'm a madman.
Sure.
But that scale, them dreams get bigger, and the things that I want to do right now and I want to achieve, if I told people, they'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But like I told you on stage, I've been told that all my life. Just go for it and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And make sure that the people who have believed in you from the get-go all come up together. We all eat together.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
So the word you want to go with is legacy. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that word, legacy. It means a lot, man. Flex, I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate you speaking.
Thank you,
and we'll remember you as Flex Lewis Legacy. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, boss.